Now to start off my jig, the first thing I'd like to do is zoom in and I'll add in a new step. This will leave step 1 as a good base step or introduction, and on step 2 I'm going to swap into sub-object mode and open up our 3D model in order to reveal those internal components. I'm then going to check our transition so far. You can see that the transparency has created a soft fade between step 1 and step 2. Next, I'd like to feature the turbine as the focus of this step. In order to do this, I'm going to select our turbine and give it some spin. You can see that I'm also able to reverse the rotation of this turbine, but in this case, I'm going to keep it positive, and I'm also going to add in a custom value to speed up that rotation. Next, I'm going to add in a label to our turbine, and I'm going to turn that label on. And you can see that that turbine label stays attached to our object. Now when I go from step 1 to step 2, you can see that that label will also have a smooth fade in as you go between those steps. So on step 3, I'd like to add in an effect that shows air flowing through the jet engine. But firstly, I'd like to select my turbine, and I'm going to turn off its label on this step so that it doesn't distract from the effects shape. So again, I'm going to add content and I'll go into the model library, and in the effects panel, I'm going to select one of our effects shapes. I'm then going to scale up and position this airflow effect at the front of the jet engine. And then I'm going to change its colour to be a soft blue. This will help to emphasise that it's fresh air that's being brought into the jet engine. Next, I'm going to select our airflow effect, and I'm going to use the duplicate tool in order to create an exact replica of that effect on this step. Again, I'm going to position our object at the rear of the jet engine, and I'm going to elongate it in order to increase the speed of that flow effect. I'll also make it a soft orange to indicate that the air has been heated up. The next thing I'd like to do is bring in a title card on step 1. In order to do this, I'm going to the Add Content menu, and I'll select to bring in a text object. Again, I'm only applying this object to this scene. I'm going to zoom out and position this object just above our jet engine model. I can then edit the text in the text tool inside the jig toolbar. I'm able to edit this object's size as well as the colour of the text. And if I want the backing card to no longer be visible, I can turn this off by going into the colour tool and turning on this object's transparency. Next, on step 3, I'd like to upload an image graphic. I want this to show the different processes happening between the chambers of the jet engine. To do this, I'm going to add content, and I'll select the image file I want to upload from our folders. Again, I'm just applying this image to this step, and I'm going to reposition and scale this object up to align with the different chambers of that jet engine. I'll also add some transparency in order to minimize the background so that you can see through that object. So what I'd like to do next in this jig is add in the text of each of our steps. You can see that we're currently on step 1, so what I'd like to do is add in the text that introduces the focus of this jig. So next I'm going to go to step 2. Now the main focus of this step is the turbine, so I'm going to add in our text that discusses what the turbine does in the jet engine. Next I'm going to move to step 3, And on this step, I'm going to discuss the process of the air as it flows through our jet engine. We can add more information to our jig using the text box below. We can also record audio, but in this case, I'd like to upload a jet engine sound effect. So I'll select that from my folders. We can then preview our jig in AR mode. We just need to make sure to press save. So you can see our jig in AR. In order for you to view it yourself, just scan the QR code using your tablet or phone. So once you're happy with your jig in AR mode, the next thing to do is to add in its final details and save it. In order to do that, we're going to go to the left-hand side and open up our details panel. Now you can see that the name of our jig has been automatically filled in. This has the name of the first 3D model you brought into your scene, and you can see that we've also got a thumbnail image. This is automatically generated when you save your jig. So firstly, I'd like to edit the name of this jig. I can also add in a description of what this jig covers. You can see that we can also edit our thumbnail image. I would recommend this as you can get a more dynamic shot by moving around this 3D space. In this case, I'm going with black as it provides good contrast against the jet engine, and this will be saved into our jig. Now in our menu we have a number of other options. We have the ability to change the background color of your jig scene. This will be visible when viewing your jig through the web viewer if you had a lot of small white pieces. Changing the color to black could help improve the contrast and your ability to visualize your 3D models. We also have the ability to autoplay steps. This allows us to set the steps so that they play on an automatic loop. We recommend when deciding on a speed for these steps to play at, you find the step of your jig with the longest portion of text. Then you should base the duration of the steps on that time it takes you to finish reading. This is so that when viewers are viewing your jig, they're able to complete the text comfortably as they go through your jig. We also have the ability to loop steps. Once you hit the final step, it will loop back to the beginning and play through again in a continuous loop. Next, we have Exploded View. This allows viewers, when they're viewing your jig in AR mode, to pull on a toggle for your 3D model to expand out into all of the different pieces of your 3D CAD. And finally, we have the ability to duplicate your jig. This can be useful if you want to make multiple iterations on the same jig, or if you want to transfer your jig to someone else's account, they will be able to edit it.